If you're enjoying the stories of the past and the legends that shaped our world, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a new episode from Echoes of Empire. In the highlands of Anatolia, where jagged mountains cut the sky and cold winds sweep across stony plains, a kingdom once stood that rivaled the mightiest powers of the ancient world. Its warriors were feared, its kings were ambitious, its diplomats shaped treaties that still echo through history. Its capital, Hattusa, rose like a fortress of gods, carved into the bones of mountains, and yet for nearly 3,000 years, no one remembered its name. This is the story of the Hittite Empire, a kingdom that rose from scattered tribes, defied Egypt at the height of its power, mastered iron before almost anyone else, and then vanished so completely that not a single living soul even knew it had existed. It is a tale of ambition, brilliance, and the quiet collapse of a world that believed itself eternal. Long before the Hittites carved their mark on history, Anatolia was a mosaic of peoples. Small kingdoms traded, fought, and survived in valleys and mountain passes. Into this world came groups speaking an early Indo-European language. They did not arrive as conquerors at first, they came as settlers. They blended with the local Hattians and Hurrians. Over generations, these blended peoples slowly forged a unique identity that would one day be known as Hittite. But their rise was not peaceful. From the early city of Kasara emerged a line of ambitious chieftains who began uniting the highlands. The greatest of them was Hattusa. His name meant the man from Hattusa. The city he took as his capital would become the heart of an empire. Hattusa built his kingdom through relentless warfare. Town by town, valley by valley, he carved out a domain, held not by wealth, but by the strength of his chariots and the discipline of his soldiers. When he was an old man, Hattusa passed the throne, not to the son expected to inherit it, but to his grandson Mershali. There is a sense here, recorded in fragments of tablets, of betrayal and family conflict. Yet Mershali would take the foundations, laid by his grandfather, and push the young kingdom into legend. In a bold strike that shocked the world, he led his army across the Euphrates, through the lands of the Hurrians, and all the way into Mesopotamia. There he did something no state outside Mesopotamia had ever done. He conquered Babylon. In a single campaign, the Hittites demonstrated to the world that a new power had emerged. Babylon, one of the greatest cities on earth, fell not to internal revolt, not to famine, but to warriors from distant Anatolia. Yet Mershali did not stay to rule. He plundered the city, took hostages, and returned home. In his absence, Babylon fell into the hands of the Kassites, who would rule for centuries. For the Hittites, the victory was symbolic, a statement that they were no longer a regional power. They were a force that could alter the destiny of civilizations. But the moment of triumph was soon followed by chaos. Mershali was assassinated, intrigue poisoned the royal line, civil wars erupted, the empire fractured. For nearly a century, rival kings fought for control, enemies pressed in from all sides. Hittite power seemed ready to fade into the dust. Then came the man who would rebuild everything. His name was Subuluyama. He was a king of relentless ambition and unmatched skill. Under him, the Hittites entered a golden age. He reformed the army, he expanded the borders, he crushed the rival Mitanni kingdom, he established dominance over Syria. He reshaped the balance of power between the great empires of the Near East. Under Subuluyama, the Hittites became a superpower. But the most dramatic episode of his reign did not come on the battlefield. It came as a letter that arrived from faraway Egypt. It came from a queen. Her husband, the pharaoh Tutankhamun, had died. She wrote to Subuluyama, asking him to send her one of his sons, so she could marry him. She wrote that she had no heir. She wrote that she would not marry a servant. She wrote that she feared chaos. Subuluyama was stunned. No Egyptian queen had ever asked such a thing. He doubted the letter was real. He sent a messenger to confirm it. When word returned that the letter was genuine, he agreed. He sent his son Zenanza to marry the widowed queen. Zenanza never arrived. He was murdered somewhere in transit. Subuluyama blamed the Egyptians. Rage filled his court. He launched attacks into Egyptian-held lands, but revenge brought more than blood. It brought a plague. The epidemic that swept into Hatti after these campaigns devastated the empire. It killed soldiers, peasants, officials, and even Subuluyama himself. For years, the Hittites reeled under its weight. The kingdom survived, but it emerged weakened. Still, the empire stood strong enough to challenge Egypt again. Under King Muwatalli, the Hittites marched south to face the forces of Pharaoh Ramses II. Their clash at the Battle of Kadesh became one of the largest chariot battles in history. Tens of thousands fought beside the river Orontes. Ramses claimed victory. Hittite records suggest otherwise. In truth, neither side broke the other. It was the first great superpower stalemate of the ancient world. The two empires eventually signed a peace treaty. The treaty, carved into stone, is the oldest surviving peace agreement in human history. The Hittites and Egyptians became allies. They exchanged gifts. They exchanged daughters in royal marriages. They held the world in balance. But no kingdom can hold the winds of change forever. In the 13th century BCE, the world entered a period of turbulence. The Mycenaeans collapsed. Ugarit fell. Cities across the Mediterranean burned. New people, called the Sea Peoples in Egyptian records, appeared with fire and iron. Trade routes broke. Famines swept across regions. Hatti was struck by droughts, invasions, and internal strife. The Hittite Empire began to fall apart. One by one, vassal states in Syria rebelled or were conquered. Enemies pressed from the north. The royal treasury struggled to support armies. The once mighty capital of Hattusa strained under shortages. Letters began to speak of hunger. Kings wrote in desperation to their vassals. The stability that had held for centuries slipped through their fingers. Then, suddenly, the lights of the empire went out. Hattusa was abandoned. Its gates fell silent. The great archives of clay tablets were left behind. The empire vanished so completely that Greek historians of later ages had no memory of it. When Herodotus wrote about the world, he knew of Egypt and Babylon and Persia. He knew of Lydia and Phrygia, but he had never heard of the Hittites. To him, they had never existed. Centuries passed. Millennia passed. The empire might have been lost forever. Then, in the late 19th century, archaeologists digging in the mountains of central Turkey uncovered strange ruins. They found massive city walls carved with lions. They found royal gates. They found palaces built into cliffs. They found archives of clay tablets written in a forgotten script. Slowly, painstakingly, scholars realized what they had discovered. They had uncovered the Hittite Empire. Piece by piece, the lost kingdom returned. The tablets revealed laws, treaties, myths, and letters. They revealed the peace treaty with Egypt. They revealed diplomatic alliances stretching from the Aegean to Mesopotamia. They revealed that this forgotten empire had once stood among the greatest powers on earth. The rediscovery of the Hittites is one of the greatest archaeological revelations of the modern age. A civilization erased from memory suddenly stepped out from the shadows of time. For 3,000 years, the stones of Hattusa had slept beneath the earth. Now they speak again. Today, when we walk through the Lion Gate of Hattusa, we walk in the footsteps of kings who ruled lands from the mountains of Anatolia to the coasts of Syria. When we read their tablets, we hear voices that once shaped the ancient world. When we stand among the ruins of their temples, we feel the quiet presence of a civilization that rose with power and faded with dignity. The story of the Hittite Empire is not a story of defeat alone. It is a story of rediscovery, a reminder that even the greatest kingdoms can vanish, but not forever. Somewhere beneath the soil, beneath forgotten valleys and buried cities, lies the memory of their power. The Hittites show us that history is not just what is remembered. It is also what is found again. Lost empires wait beneath the sands of time. Some may still be waiting, but the Hittites no longer wait. Their story has returned. Their voice has risen once more, and their legacy stands as a testament to the fragility and brilliance of the ancient world. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a new episode from Echoes of Empire.